Right from the start, I've been against these emission controlled engines and CARB and all that stuff in California. It really had a bearing on one of the reasons I retired. I wasn't prepared to spend a few $100,000 on new equipment just to be able to get back into California. I loved running California and pulling produce out of there, but it just didn't pay enough for me to make an investment in a new emissions engine for the truck and a new reefer for the trailer. And it wasn't worth buying a new truck either. So that's part of the reason I decided to retire when I did. That's the problem with these new emissions engines, is they've taken something that worked really well and then tried to monkey it all up to try to burn zero emissions. And engines just aren't designed to do that. And they've had nothing but trouble with these engines ever since they started changing them and monkeying with them. I ran into a friend today who had an interesting story, and his truck, we featured it on our channel when it was brand new. We filmed it down at the Woodstock truck stop. He's got a 2015 Cummins engine. He was in the mountains in British Columbia the other day. The turbo on his new engine has a gate that opens and closes to help control the emissions. The gate on the turbo malfunctioned, slammed shut the turbo down, and in return shut the engine down to the point where, it was just idling along because it knew it was in trouble. It knew it had a problem, but it cut enough of the power that it shut off the Jake brake, the engine brake. And my buddy was on the downhill grade on the Selmo Creston on an 8% grade pulling a set of trains, and this engine decided to shut down and cut off the Jake brake. My buddy's an excellent driver, but that could have been a real problem. He managed to drive his way out of it and get slowed down and stopped okay. He's a mechanic, a heavy mechanic by trade as well, so he had all his trailer brakes adjusted just the way they should be, and he was able to drive himself out of trouble. But not everybody would have been able to do that. Not everybody would have had their brakes set up as well as what he does. That could have been a real disaster. And there's a serious problem, one of the many, many serious problems with these new emissions engines. They're not reliable, and they're making decisions for the driver. That motor decided that it was in trouble and shut itself down. That should have been the driver's call when to shut it down. It's all right to get a warning buzzer or a bell, but my God, don't kill the Jake brake on a mountain when you're headed downhill with trains. That could have been deadly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they should have done. They should throw out CARB. We should go back to the old style engines and get trucking again. Take care, drivers. Keep the rubber side down, and I will see you on the backhaul.